Today's energy update, we're going to talk about exactly that, the current energy. The current energy is all about being shaken. So if you find yourself with life being shaken upside down around you and with you feeling like either you're falling apart, something's falling apart, if you're feeling overwhelmed by the external, then you're in the current energy. And if you're not, it's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. We're all staggered right now. Okay, and what that means is we got a lot of front runners who are rushing out there to meet and greet that energy first, because that's what this is. It's cosmic energy, and we are having daily influxes of cosmic energy come into the body. My name is Kerry K. If you haven't met me before, hello and welcome to my channel. I help you to decipher what those cosmic energies are and support your navigation through them, because we are ascending. That's what this is. We are transcending the false matrix. We are entering into our divine organic blueprint. And as this occurs, man, we're going to be challenged some days. And sometimes the challenges are spectacular. Sometimes the challenges are like the ones we're facing right now, asking us, how much darkness can you let go of? Really, how much darkness can you release? How much light, therefore, can you actually allow in? That's what the current energy is challenging you with. And it feels, when I say that, beautiful. So you might say, well, why doesn't it feel beautiful? Remember what I said moments back, we're all kind of staggered. Some are in the front lines meeting this cosmic influx for the first time. They bring it right in through their body and they transmute it through their body. They then serve as a beacon, a lighthouse, to let the others behind them who are energetically lining themselves up to walk through this cosmic energy, they then let the others know by their example, okay guys, I got the memo. It lives inside me now. I've embodied this now. I've met this field of energy, this cosmic influx now. Passing it back, it becomes easier and easier. We ripple the solutions to each other. We ripple the answers to each other when we are working at these higher levels. We're actually all working in union with each other. We are a team. And that has not happened on this planet for a long time. But it's an interesting thing because we're a team for the most part with team players who don't realize that we're a team. And that we're all actually playing through this together. Because sometimes people will listen to an energy update and they'll go, oh, that doesn't apply to me. Or I'm not going through that right now. Okay, that's a fabulous thing. All it means is either that you've transmuted the energy already, or it's something you're going to step into in the future. It's why I always say to you guys, if you watch any of my energy updates, and you might watch it 6 months or a year even after I've released it, when you watch it, that energy is hitting you. It's all staggered. So understand that you're going to process this differently, but let me talk about what is going on right now. Shook. That's the best word I can give you. You're being shook. Life is being shaken, almost turned upside down, because there's this breaking free from the programming of the false matrix. There is this ultimate breaking free to a degree that we've never visited before. We have not been here. So we have to dig deep into ourselves. How much divinity can you allow in right now? How much light can you embody right now? And the pain and the difficulty and the trauma comes in when you stand in your own way, when you block your own self from moving forward. And I'm going to talk about some of the ways that you do that. You block yourself when you get very analytical. When you say, this is what I feel, why do I feel it? That takes you away from feeling what you're feeling. Because right now we don't have the time. So you can analyze, you're just wasting time and you don't have it, and you're going to slow everything down through the process of analysis to take the quantum leaps forward that are necessary right now. You're going to find yourself in a place where things happen too quickly to analyze, too fast to make sense of, and even at a level that intellectually you can't understand. Why is this happening? Why are people behaving this way? And that's a really, really good thing when you get to that place that you can intellectually no longer analyze. But if you are in analysis, get out. Plain and simple. The best way to get out, guided meditation is your friend. And if you did it every single day, see what it does. You don't have to do guided meditation, by the way. I recommend that only for those of you who just in the chatterbox too much and you need support to go underneath the chatterbox, not to punish the chatterbox, not to condemn or judge or ignore, just to go underneath it into a pure raw consciousness. That is what is going to be the most supportive thing for you right now. So you can use meditation to take you there. You can use sitting in stillness and presence to take you there. In my online community, we've got a room called the 0 Point Zone. It's a space, it's an energetic field that I've imprinted and encoded that the members come into, and they literally just get to bathe in that energy any time of the day. That's going underneath the chatterbox, which is ultimately going underneath the ego mind and accessing something much deeper, because that's exactly what the current energy is asking you to do. Can you connect with the you that is not the ego self, the slave self, confined to the false matrix, programmed by the false matrix? And that's difficult for a lot of people. In fact, for humanity at large, that sounds easy, but is not. It's simple, but not easy. And that's always the case with simplicity. Simplicity sounds like, oh, is that all I've got to do? Oh, so I'm just ascending. Easy peasy, Kerry. Okay, fabulous. Why did I ever think it was complicated? It's not complicated. But just because something is simple does not necessarily mean that it's easy. The challenge is, can I let go of the thing I thought that I was, the person that I proclaimed myself to be, the limitations that I bought into? The broadcast system of the false matrix informed you who you were. Now you're being asked to let that go. And for a lot of people, that feels like a death process of some sort. It feels like an end of some sort. So if you're navigating your world right now and it feels like, this is a dead end, or I'm at an end, you understand why. It's not you. It's not you that's ending. It's the opposite. In fact, it's you that's beginning. It's you, the true self that's emerging. But again, the release from all of those coping mechanisms, the you that you are not, that is what you're being released from. And this is not a case of, how do I do this? Nah. This is a case of, how do I allow this? Because this is what is happening. This is what is taking place. Yes, it's going to take place for everyone in a different way. But you don't have to work to be released, to instill this new energy that's releasing you from the programs. But you do have to allow. So again, that going underneath the crazy chatterbox ego is the most powerful, beneficial, important thing you can do. Maybe you're blessed. Maybe you're blessed and you've just got a friend made of love that you can speak to. Have you got somebody like that in your life where you guys can talk about energy? You can talk about the cosmos. You can talk about something that's expansive. It's going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to take you out of the chatterbox and it's going to put you into that field of your multidimensional self. Because if this is all about releasing the you that you are not, which it is, then what does that mean? It means because the true self is being asked to take its rightful place in your body, to come into presence now. So do not run away from the challenges in front of you, run towards them. Do not look for, how do I get out of? Oh, please. Don't look for, how do I get out of this? Because that's what we're programmed to do. We're programmed to dodge things. The false matrix taught us that. It said, don't go through it, go around it, because it's too uncomfortable, too scary, too unknown, too ... For everybody, it was a different reason, a different excuse. But that's what we have all learned. And that's why I said, don't do the analysis thing, because that's actually a way of stepping out of the experience of where you are. The more you connect with the experience of where you actually are, the more you release where you actually are. So don't try to get out of, and it's going to take every ounce of courage that you've got to run towards the thing that looks so scary in your world right now. But you will not only make it and survive it, you will transcend because of it. You are an alchemist, and an alchemist does this. This is what an alchemist does. An alchemist takes an energy and transforms it. Don't use the old coping mechanisms to ignore it, to suppress it, to dodge it, to go somewhere else. Just allow yourself to step into who you really are, your higher nature, as an alchemist who has an innate, natural ability to transform emotions, to transform energy, to transcend difficulty through walking through it. Now, earlier I spoke about the ego. I said, you've got to go under. You've got to go kind of under the ego into a higher truth. Why? Not because you're running away from the ego, but because the higher truth that you are, when you access it, dissolves the density, the program, the ego, whatever that shadow is that you've identified yourself as. And we all did this. We all did it. We all identified ourselves as, and honestly believed the programs that we identified ourselves as. Programs like, I'm not good enough, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't have enough power, I don't have enough money, I am not enough, I'm a victim here, everyone's being cruel to me, the odds are stacked up against me, I can't get ahead in the world. I mean, it's an endless list of those programs that were all there to do the same thing, which was to detract you and distract you from your divinity. That was it. That was their job, and they did a damn good job, because we got so entangled with those programs that we thought we were those programs. We danced around those programs till we thought we were the dance, never realizing, oh wow, that is not who I am. I'm the orchestra playing the music. I'm the conductor. I'm even the audience listening. But I'm not that small container. So whatever circumstance you're in and going through right now, that's what that is. No matter how big the circumstance feels that you're walking through right now, it's small. It's small. It's teeny weeny tiny. It's nowhere near as big as you think it is. I'll tell you what is. What is big, vast, massive, is your field of multidimensional self. That's why I'm talking about expansiveness. That's why I'm talking about going underneath the ego to get into that multidimensional self, because that dissolves the smallness and lets you out of the prison cell of the false matrix. In other words, out of the smallness. The ego self is the false self, is the slave self. It's all the same thing. And that's the you that held all the limitations and obediently abided by and answered to those limitations. And it even identified itself with such determined and such distinct dedication that it used the words I am, and it would say things like, this was the false identity speaking, it would say things like, I am an angry person, for example, or it would say, I am a jealous person, or I am, and then the name of the program, poor, disadvantaged, whatever it was. We took that as an identity. So the circumstance that you're in right now, first of all, it's small. It's nowhere near as big as you think it is. It just feels so big because that's kind of like where your eye is. That's what you can see. But it's also not the truth of who you are. In fact, it's exactly who you are not. But you've got to go through it, not run away from it. And sometimes the hardest thing to go through is your power, not your powerlessness. It's your light, not your darkness. It's your divinity, not your density. Sometimes the hardest, most challenging thing to walk through is, how can I be this godliness? How can I be this loving, this unconditional, this wise, this everything, when my programming has told me I'm unimportant and I don't matter and I'm just human and I don't have the answers and blah, blah, blah. All of those programs of smallness. See, that's the challenge. Can you let go of it? And actually, I know it's going to sound like a contradiction, what I'm going to say. You got no choice right now. You got no choice because right now you're being shook. The universe is shaking you, letting loose debris flying everywhere of all that you are not, so that you can be all that you are. And the reason I said I know this sounds like a contradiction, because I said to you, you got no choice. The truth is you've always got choice. But what many people don't understand and see and know is the part of you exercising that choice is not the personality self, the slave self, the ego. That's not the part of you that exercises free will. Oh, it certainly does to a degree, yeah. But the part of you that is coordinating your ascension is not the personality self. The part of you that is coordinating your transcendence of darkness and density and your ascension into light and consciousness and divinity, that's your soul. Your soul is doing that work. Your soul has made that choice because souls collectively upon this planet right now have agreed. We're taking one of two paths. I know right now it looks like there's about 1,000 different paths in front of you, and the truth is there are. But those are quickly collapsing. Have you seen how there's so many things like opportunities collapsing, different things you thought you were wanting to do, wanting to experience? All opportunities are collapsing because kind of like a sheepdog shepherding the sheep a certain way, your soul is doing that. Your soul is the shepherd, collapsing all of the distractions because there's only one of two paths. We're being filtered into one of two paths right now. That is the path of ascension, 5D, or the path of leaving this planet, moving into a 4D planet at the ascension window. So I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about at the ascension window, which is a cosmic event, which will happen in our lifetime. That cosmic event is a complete redo of the world that we live in right now. It's a complete re-emergence of the self that you are right now. And either you will leave this incarnation and move off into a new one, which will take place on another planet in a 4D world, which is still a huge improvement from where we've been. We've been in the 3D false matrix, for goodness sake. So that's still a win. Or you're going to move into the 5D line. See, those are the two timelines. The 5D timeline, which is what we call ascension, which remains here on this planet, but in a higher experience, as a higher expression. We're coming to a place where the current timeline that we're on will no longer contain all the various worlds and frequencies that it's containing right now, where it will purify and distill itself into one of these two paths. That's what all of this is. So to walk one of those two paths, you've got to let go of the self you were programmed to be. That's the bottom line. And I know sometimes it feels scary, but I promise you, you are equipped for the job. You're more than equipped. We've had to go through the hardship of facing our darkness and our density and our fears and our shadow and heal this and heal that. We've done that. But we're at a much more powerful place right now. And I know for a lot of you, you're going, this doesn't feel like a much more powerful place right now, because the core of the inner darkness is being shaken loose. So obviously it's going to feel like you can't see anything, debris flying, density being confronted. Of course it's going to feel that way. And that's okay. Nothing is going wrong. Or just please remind yourself that I'm not wrong. This isn't wrong. This is all about surrender. This is all about release. This is all about me not standing in my way. This is all about me transcending the chatterbox brain and learning finally, fully, freely to connect with the authentic self, to get into the authentic experience of life. You're doing so much more than you actually think you are, right? At least get that. At least get the idea of, first of all, this life is way bigger than I ever thought that it was. And I am doing way more than I ever believed I knew how to do. And that's the great thing. Your brain doesn't have to understand what you're doing in order for you to go through what you're going through right now. This conversation is only here to support you in not clinging to the past and specifically the past self and the past coping mechanisms. Have you noticed that the past coping mechanisms don't work anymore? They're pretty futile. You're going to see a lot of people battle. People with mental illness are going to battle the most because it's being exacerbated. The darkness becomes so oppressive sometimes. And by the darkness, what am I saying? The layers of illusion, the layers of the false matrix, as they collapse, it feels like they're falling in on you. And that feels like pressure and overwhelm from the external world. And that's why I keep saying to you guys, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not wrong. This is okay. You're okay. Because it's the truth. It's the absolute truth. I hope that you take this into your heart. So the people that are going to battle right now, yep, those with mental illness, you may very well see it exacerbate. Those who may not necessarily have mental illness, but just stubborn refusal to step into their own higher consciousness, you might see that they're going to become more and more unhinged. And they're going to think, I'm normal. What are you talking about? This is me being normal. That's their coping mechanism. You're going to see them coming unhinged, making no sense, falling apart in front of you. But they're going to proclaim, I'm okay. It's you that's falling apart. It's okay. You're not here to remedy them, fix them, show them the light. You're here to be the light. And those that crave it will start tuning into it, will start seeing it. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about how many people you've unknowingly supported by being a ripple of love and consciousness for them, by walking through your own density and darkness and not shrinking away from it, but actually moving towards it so that you can transmute it. Think about that. Think about people that you will never meet. They'll never know your name. You'll never know theirs. That your energy field has already supported upon this planet because it has, because that's what you're doing. For those of you who want to take the level of work that I'm talking about here way deeper, join my online community. For those of you that are not called to do that, you are so welcome to the free content that I put out here. I hope that you receive it with love. I hope that you share it with love. And I hope that you allow yourself to be love even when those around you are not. I hope that you allow yourself to be kind even when there are people around you who aren't kind. I hope that you let yourself do the right thing even when you're surrounded by people who will not, do not. This is not a time to lose your footing. If ever there was a time to be more devoted to your divinity now, it is exactly now. From my heart all the way into yours. Watch the video that I'm going to link for you over here. This is my message for you following this video. Go ahead and watch it now. From my heart to yours.